There's a special kind of evil that wears a smile and carries a color swatch. Her name was Genevieve, and she was the most sought-after wedding planner in the city. I hired her to create the perfect day. What I didn't know was that she was planning to make it perfectly unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. But by the time I was done with her, the only thing she would be planning was her defense strategy. We've all trusted the wrong person. The smooth talker, the expert who makes you feel safe, only to discover they're playing a completely different game. If you've ever wanted to see one of those wolves get their teeth pulled, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe for a story about how I turned a wedding disaster into this con artist's worst nightmare. My now husband, David, and I saved for years. Our wedding was going to be the one perfect day after a decade of struggling. We splurged on one thing, Genevieve. She was a magician, or so her review said. She had this calm, elegant authority that made you feel like everything was handled. We gave her a $50,000 budget, our entire savings, as an upfront deposit. It was supposed to cover the venue, the caterer, the flowers, everything. The morning of the wedding, I was buzzing with excitement. Then my phone rang. It was the venue. They asked where their final payment was. Confused, I called the caterer. They'd never been booked. The florist? Same story. My heart plummeted into my stomach. Genevieve wasn't answering her phone. She had vanished. With our $50,000. We arrived at the venue to find it empty. No chairs, no flowers, no food. My family and guests were starting to arrive. The humiliation was a physical, burning pain. I saw the pity in their eyes. David's parents had to make frantic calls to pull together a pathetic reception in a nearby park. It was a disaster. My dream day was a public funeral for my dignity. For weeks, I was shattered. The police said it was a civil matter. Genevieve had simply breached a contract. She was too clever to leave an obvious criminal trail. But one night, fueled by rage and red wine, I fell down an internet rabbit hole. I found them. Dozens of them. Other brides, in other cities, with eerily similar stories. A stunning wedding planner would appear, build trust, take a massive deposit, and then vanish right before the wedding, leaving chaos in her wake. She used different names, Bianca, Celeste, Sophia, but the method was identical. And the photos, they were all the same woman, Genevieve. This wasn't a one-time scam. This was her business model. She was a serial predator of happy couples. And in that moment, my heartbreak didn't just turn to anger, it turned to ice. I became a ghost hunter. I created a fake identity. Anya, a wealthy heiress from Dubai, planning a $1 million wedding. I spent weeks building the persona, creating fake social media profiles, even renting a luxury apartment for a day for a video call. I contacted Bianca, Genevieve's latest alias. I was her dream client. Unlimited budget, no questions asked. I fed her ego and her greed. I told her I'd pay a $200,000 deposit, but I had one unusual request. My financial advisor insisted that for a transfer that large, we needed to sign the contract and process the wire transfer in person for security. She hesitated, but the lure of $200,000 was too strong. She agreed to meet at a private dining club. What she didn't know was that the financial advisor was an undercover police officer I had finally convinced to listen, and the entire meeting was being recorded. The day of the meeting, I watched from a hidden monitor in a back room. She walked in, every bit the elegant con artist. She was smooth, confident, laying out the fake plans for my fake wedding. She signed the contract. Then, the advisor presented the wire transfer form. As she reached for the pen to finalize her biggest score yet, I walked into the room. The look on her face was priceless. It was a car crash of confusion, recognition, and pure terror. Hello, Genevieve. Or should I call you Bianca or Celeste? I placed a thick folder on the table. This is for every bride you left at the altar, both literally and figuratively. On cue, real police officers entered the room.
As they read her rights, I looked her in the eye and said, "I planned this whole thing just for you. I hope it was everything you dreamed of." She was charged with over 20 dozen counts of fraud, grand larceny, and identity theft. The media dubbed her the Black Widow wedding planner. My $50,000 was gone, but seeing her perp walk on the evening news was a different kind of payoff. David and I renewed our vows a year later in a small, beautiful ceremony that was entirely, authentically us. We didn't need a planner. She thought she was ruining the most important day of my life. What she actually did was give me a new purpose. If you believe that some debts can't be paid with money, but with justice, smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's the biggest betrayal you've ever faced? And subscribe because we have so many more stories of karma coming due.